Next up, Senator Bates, you have SB 1415, item number 13, a small bill addressing California Environmental Quality Act. Come on down.
Mr. Chairman and members, honorable members, Senate Bill 1415 provides a statutory exemption from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, for drought-oriented projects that seek to mitigate drought conditions when the governor declares a state of emergency. I was approached during the interim about the need for this bill while I was visiting a variety of different cities in my district. This legislature has passed legislation seeking to exempt or streamline the CEQA process. We did that. I was not present, but obviously the need was there, apparently, for the sports complex in the city of Industry, and most recently the development of the downtown arena here in Sacramento. I'm sure there were significant findings and a determination of need to allow those exemptions, and I believe there are significant needs regarding the state water reliability present, given the intent, present in the intent of this legislation. Though the CEQA process exists to protect the environment by ensuring consideration is given as to the impact it will have on the environment before approval is given on any new project. I think we all know it has become extremely cumbersome for agencies seeking to get a project started because of the major delays that can occur in the CEQA process. Although there was hope that El Nino would help erase the drought problem of the past, California is still in drought. That has lasted for 4 years. Local governments with existing water projects that are seeking to expand in order to provide for more water storage can be held up under the same time restrictions existing for any other project that has to pass through CEQA, which delays potential solutions to the state's water shortage program. There should be a means to which these projects can be fast-tracked in order to immediately start increasing water storage in times of drought while still protecting the environment. SB 1415 provides an opportunity to speed up the process for projects that demonstrate efficient water storage expansion. Though a small step towards reforming CEQA, the measure is a step in the right direction during this drought emergency and certainly will aid our locals working on expanding current water storage projects in the meantime. And just a footnote, after hearing this morning's presentation, Senator Wieckowski, on the drinking water and the consolidation direction that we are going to see, and that is a good thing. I think we're all seeing the need there. Local, larger water districts that will be assuming the responsibility for delivery need to have an opportunity for expansion, and I'd like us to focus on this isn't about building dams and creating new desal projects. This is about existing water systems, and there's a couple of large ones in South Orange County, North San Diego, in my district, that have a need to expand some of the storage projects they have, and delaying those through a very prolonged CEQA project when basically some of them have already met that is what this intends to address. So I wanted to ensure you that it's narrower than what was discussed in the committee analysis, and I clearly understand that. So with that, I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Frank Urey. He's the mayor of my neighboring city, Mission Viejo, who actually brought this to our attention from the South Orange County cities.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, members of the committee. It's important to understand kind of the genesis of why we put 1415 together. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that the governor has called for sustainable growth, making sure that we have everything in place for water reliability. And that creates a challenge for us, especially at the local level. Several months ago, I attended a League of California Cities conference, and one of their breakout sessions described the governor's bill, the groundwater sustainability, and was also having a very large discussion regarding local jurisdictions working together to create sustainability plans, not just cities, not just water districts, but entire regions to work together. And after about an hour-long discussion by an attorney and an advocate for it, one of the questions that came up was, what are we doing in terms of CEQA reform so that we can streamline some of this work? The advocate said, no CEQA reform had been envisioned, which basically turned the entire committee meeting into a bit of a food fight because everybody threw their arms up, realizing that unless there's some level of CEQA reform for these water improvement projects, that people will people will walk away from the table. So this bill is aimed at, let us help you type situation, because right now, and I'll give you just a couple of examples, cities right now from a financial standpoint are actually doing very well. We have the ability to walk in fact, in my city in Mission Viejo, we're working with the Santa Margarita Water District to fund and finance a $4 million advanced water treatment plant that will fully replenish Lake Mission Viejo, essentially taking Lake Mission Viejo off of the Southern California water demand radar for the next 25 years. We're ready to go with it. The only reason we're able to do that was because the project was started several years ago before the drought, and it got through all the environmental hurdles. So this is an opportunity for us to work together and to actually bring a reason to bring jurisdictions together to make sure that we create water sustainability plans. And that's one of my concerns, is that when you get a meeting at the League of Cities and they understand the futility of trying to work towards long-term water sustainability because of all the environmental impediments, I worry that cities won't even step up to the table. Because even though the cities may have money to put in play, they're not going to go through a 2-year mitigated negative deck or an EIR waiting and putting $2 million, $3 million in play. They're not going to put that money out to pasture waiting and hoping something goes through. They're just that's just not going to be the philosophy. So the senator said, I agree, it's definitely important to note this isn't about building desal or building huge plants and putting 5 million acre feet of water online every year. In South Orange County alone, 24,000 acre feet of water flow naturally into the ocean every year just because we don't catch it. It's not that it's not there. It's not that it won't be there year after year. It's just that we don't go through it. So the bill envisions, basically working on capturing runoff, putting in place advanced treatment so that money can be put back into the water portfolio. Storage. That's an easy one. When you take a look at, we have a lot of above ground and below ground storage capabilities. Well, guess what? If I've put a 5 million gallon tank in the middle of absolutely nowhere, my ability to take that tank up or out, or even put another one next to it, should not be the part of a very protracted environmental discussion. And then, of course, expanding current reservoirs. I was actually flying into Dallas last week, and that state has, I used to live there. There are lakes and rivers and everything all over the place. And as you fly into DFW Airport, you also see a lot of water towers, a lot of storage. They're working on it. If we are truly interested in creating a long-term sustainable plan, we're going to need to have a portfolio to put that all together. Thank you very much.
I guess the question is that if the drought-oriented projects is supposed to be broadly interpreted, then why wouldn't it, be an invitation for desal plants or some other, management of reservoirs that might be more controversial than the simple stormwater catch system?
No, go ahead.
So-
I have mine.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it from the local elected official standpoint. We don't have hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to put into desal or to build dams. What we do have is a flexibility capability to create a smaller project that will get anywhere from 500 to 1,000 acre feet of water online. That's what this envisions. So you're not going to see cities going out and creating their own desal capabilities. That's more of a regional discussion that would still be part of the CEQA requirements. This is more to look at the tactical capabilities of local governments to put that in place. So from that standpoint, that's why when I read the legislative analysis, I understood the desire to take it to an area that this isn't intended to go to make their point, but that's not where this legislation is intended for.
I wouldn't imagine us being able to exempt a desal project or a dam. So when that came through in the analysis, I'm thinking we're open to a narrowing of the discussion or the intent of it and the authority that's given in it, so that it does aid the locals with a lot of great projects if they don't have to go through this protracted CEQA process for something, as Mayor Uri was saying. It can be a storage tank that's basically in the same region as one that already exists, but you have to go through, the whole mitigated declaration process. Very different. So it's a matter of give us a tool, and this seemed to be the right direction to be going in, to have that tool. if it needs to be narrowed to give more comfort level and confidence that we're not going to find people gaming the system with this, we're open to that.
All right, let's hear from proponents of SB 1415. This is those in support of SB 1415.
Hal Dassinger, Civil Justice Association of California. We support the bill.
Right. Opposition. Is there opposition to SB 1415?
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Kyle Jones with Sierra Club California in opposition to the bill. We strongly support CEQA and its provisions to protect the environment and allow the public access to information and to be informed about projects around them. And we think that regardless of the merit of the project, that CEQA analysis needs to be done so that people know what's happening around them. I would have to disagree with the author on how the effect of the bill would operate, and agree with the committee analysis that the bill is very broad as written, and with the liberal construction provision in there, could apply to numerous projects beyond what they state to intend. We're concerned about this being used for projects that definitely would have serious environmental impacts, such as desalination and dam projects, and urge your no vote today. Thank you.
Kelly Denton on behalf of California League Conservation Voters, also in opposition for the reasons stated by Sierra Club. Thank you.
There's no one from the administration here. Anybody from Cal EPA or on this bill? All right. Members, anybody have a question?
I do, in terms of.
Vice Chair Gaines.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could speak to the issue of, it sounded like you were open to narrowing the bill? And has that been presented in amendment form, or where are we? Okay, all right. So I guess I was just looking for clarification. I think.
There were no amendments suggested.
No amendments,
but-
yeah, okay. Because it sounds like they're for smaller local projects that, would be of tremendous help within communities. And so I love that aspect. And, we've got a tremendous housing shortage in California, and some of the highest housing costs in the nation, too. And so I'm always looking for opportunities to see if we can get approval that would help reduce the cost of housing, and at the same time speed that process up, which also saves money. So I'm supportive of your legislation. Thank you.
Senator Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And, it's so tempting to, as someone who tried to do some CEQA reforms over the last few years and then giving up because there's, special interests have seemed to kind of taken over the whole fight, the arguments, and the control of CEQA in a lot of ways that have made it very difficult to effectively move projects and do things in a timely manner and without a lot of difficulty and cost, which is unfortunate. It would be nice, and this legislature has many exemptions, as we know. It is unfortunate that there aren't some amendments or some way of kind of scaling it down to something that would be a little more, I think, palatable, and that we can get our arms around a little bit. So I would hope, and we've got, I think, some time the rest of this session to do something with that, and if that were possible. So I don't think I support it today because of that broadness, but certainly if you worked on something and had some exemptions that would apply to smaller, manageable kind of control, that we can do things quickly and effectively, I think it would be good. So,
I mean, you'll remember Senator Hill and Senator Roth and Jackson. I mean, trying to do
I'd
things.
rather not talk about it.
Yeah. Just concurrent movement on, it was just.
And that's why we have
Yeah.
the exemptions, because we're not solving the problems that have been created by those interests that have, other than the environment at heart, I believe.
Do you think if we put this in CARB? No, just kidding, just kidding.
Good idea.
So I'm just throwing out a suggestion. I'm wondering if you might be able to work with the committee, hold off on a vote of the bill, work with the committee in terms of amendments that would make it palatable for it to return. I don't know what the chair's opinion is or
Sure,
committee
I'd be happy
members,
with that.
but
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that's sitting at the, with the administration on these things where they saw some movement from the previous legislation that's it's still technically in approps, right?
Which one is that? The,
Your bill,
no, that bill's gone.
that's gone.
That was a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing there in that, but unless there are exemptions proposed by the administration, I don't think, we haven't seen anything yet.
I haven't seen it, so we could check.
But I mean, I think that's fine to keep it in
Yeah.
the committee.
We got
Just-
another 2 weeks. We got 40 bills next week, make it 43, or 2 weeks. That's.
through them twice as fast as we have today.
Yeah, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. If that's the author's preference, we can certainly check over at the administration and meet with your staff and our staff on what might be an appropriate amendment to gain some support.
And maybe bring some more support with that
Right,
bill.
and perhaps a definition of projects that it would intend to, authorize. I think that's what's kind of elusive at the moment. And those of us at local government know what we're specifically, we've seen them, we've seen the reservoir that might need, kind of expansion. Those are things that we see and understand what the bill is really intended, but when we're talking about dams and desal plants, and those are huge,
Yep.
and we wouldn't want those not to have that due diligence through the CEQA process. So I'm open to that if you'll give me that little bit of time, and I know the mayor will be happy to work on that, because these are things that obviously the League of Cities have discussed it, so we probably get some ideas from them too.
Okay. All right, we'll move on to item number 8.
Very good.
The last item on our calendar, SB 1213 by Wykowski.
All right. Senator Wachowski, Senate Bill 1213.
This is going to set up a continuous appropriation of $20 million from the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund for the California Energy Commission to administer a competitive grant program for funding of biosolids from our waste treatment plants to energy projects. The grants require a local match, and it becomes effective on 2016-18. It's as it was amended in the Transportation Committee. It's cutting-edge technology. The idea is to give a little boost to those folks that are at the edge of it. And I have with me a couple of witnesses who are from the Bay Area. I'm going to tell you all about the benefits of biosolids to
Please, I'd
energy.
love to hear from them.
Go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you very much. My name is Paul Eldridge. I'm the general manager of the Union Sanitary District, and we're a member of the Bay Area to Biosolids Energy Coalitions, comprised of 19 wastewater agencies throughout the Bay Area. And this coalition is dedicated to facilitating regional solutions and exploring new technologies. This effort, in large part, is to preclude a possible biosolids management crisis as land application and landfill disposal of biosolids becomes less of an option over time. SB 1213 addresses the challenge caused by the fact that cutting-edge technology to convert biosolids will, in the short term, be more expensive to our ratepayers and land application than current disposal practice, potentially resulting in significant cost increases for our customers, and SB 1213 mitigates this by appropriating $20 million for a 50% state and local cost-sharing partnership. SB 1213 also recognizes that this is a worthy public policy goal throughout the state and should be replicated and available to other wastewater agencies throughout the state. More widespread use of this technology by wastewater agencies throughout California will result in more significant reductions of greenhouse gas emissions As a representative of the Union Sanitary District, I'd like to thank the author and our Senator Wajkowski for introducing this important bill. And on behalf of the coalition and the Union Sanitary District, I urge the committee to support the bill and vote yes. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
And
Great.
Mr. Vice
Thank you,
Chair,
Paul.
before we get to
Yes.
my witness from the San Francisco PUC, I am respectfully not taking the committee's amendments that were suggested. So it's just the bill as it was amended, so everybody's clear.
Okay, can I ask a question of clarification?
Yes.
Because I did hear this in energy.
Yes.
And there were amendments
Yeah.
in energy committee, so
Right, and it's as it came in and from Energy.
I see.
It's
Okay.
there's no for the specific project for the first year, but it's
Okay.
just the 20 million.
Very well, great, thank you.
San Francisco.
Wonderful. Thank you, Senate Environmental Quality Committee and Senator Wojciechowski for your leadership on this bill. My name is Manon Fisher, and I represent the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, active member of the Bay Area Biosolids to Energy Coalition since its inception in 2006. The SFPUC provides water, power, and sewer services to the city and county of San Francisco and produces approximately 80,000 tons of biosolids annually. We therefore recognize firsthand that biosolids are a naturally occurring, renewable source of carbon, nutrients, and water, which can be upcycled into soil amendments, fertilizers, fuel, and energy. 8 years ago, the Bay Area Biosolids to Energy Coalition was established to lead the development of biosolids conversion to clean, renewable power. The coalition recognized the diminishing availability of farmland for land application and ever-shrinking capacity for daily landfill cover, and took the opportunity to harness this renewable carbon feedstock for energy production. After substantial analysis and collaboration with cutting-edge green technology providers, it was determined that the most feasible option for biosolids to energy production involved the development of multiple sub-regional projects throughout the Bay Area. One of the coalition's projects, located at the Dublin San Ramon Services District, is ready to go now. It would convert approximately 7% of the 19 member agency's biosolids into clean energy. And while it is a modest project, it will reduce greenhouse gas emissions and we believe will lead to the development of larger projects in the future, which will further reduce greenhouse gas emissions and divert biosolids from landfills. Passage of this bill will help fund forward-thinking, environmentally beneficial projects throughout the state of California and will allow municipalities to source safe, local, renewable, low-carbon feedstocks for energy and fuel. In addition, this bill will enable the Energy Commission to make the initial strategic investments to expedite the maturity of these technologies within the California marketplace, creating career-based jobs in the renewables sector while reducing the state's carbon footprint. So I hope that you agree that the state has a shared interest in these types of projects and should help promote the conversion of biosolids to energy. Thank you for your time.
Great, thank you. And another witness? Oh, I'm sorry, okay, apologize, okay. Witness is in support.
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair and members of the Senate Committee. I'm Patrick Sweetland. I'm with the North San Mateo County Sanitation District. I'm one of those agencies that may be contributing to the Biosolids Energy Coalition. Certainly you can imagine as wastewater agencies, not only are we at the end of the pipe, we're at the bottom of the hill. So to be here and to be proactive in a public policy, we're very excited. We certainly thank the Senator Wojciechowski and also Senator Hill, the other sponsors of this legislation. It's an important first step, and we think it's very important that we do move forward in this area, and happy to answer any questions that you have, as well as support of all the comments that have been made in support of this legislation. Ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next witness.
Good afternoon, Senators. My name is Gary Darling. I'm the General Manager of Delta Diablo, located in East Contra Costa. We serve Antioch, Pittsburgh, and Bay Point. My agency is the lead agency for the 19-agency Bay Area Biosolids to Energy Coalition. We've been at this for a long time, the last 7 years. We need new technology that needs to come to market to finish the processing of our biosolids, maximize the energy content, and minimize greenhouse gases. So for those reasons, we totally 100% support this bill. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Next witness.
Dan McIntyre, Dublin San Ramon Services District. Our facility is going to be one of the pilot project sites for Biosolids to Energy Coalition. Will be one of the first projects to go forward. We're working with a number of agencies throughout the Bay Area. We've been working on developing a project for a number of years as part of our coalition. We're ready to build over the next year or so, but we'll need some funding to get over the hump, so we ask for your support for this bill.
That's great. Thank you. Next witness.
Thank you. Paul Kelly, Executive Director of the aforementioned Bay Area Biosolids Energy Coalition, and urge your aye vote. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any other witnesses in support? Seeing none. Witnesses in opposition? Seeing none. Committee members,
It's
questions?
just, there are more wins to this project than I think I've ever seen in any project. It has so much going forward, so much opportunity, and for the Bay Area especially, it's outstanding. So I mean, I can't say it. So I'd be happy to move the bill when the time
Okay.
comes.
We have a motion. Other comments? Would you like to close?
Surprisingly, this is bipartisan support. Not surprisingly, it's, I appreciate an aye vote on this so we can move this legislation forward and see what happens.
Great. Thank you.
Just a
Yes,
comment,
comment.
when it goes through
Senator Powell.
appropriations, continuing to add continuously to every expenditure plan, continuous appropriation, I assume that's still in the bill, that
I
is
thought that
probably.
was amended.
Was that
not-
amended out?
No, well, the bill only has a 5 years, it's a 5-year sunset. So while it says continuously, it would just be for 5 years.
But it is
Yes.
going past the 1 year.
Correct.
So it wipes out other programs for 4 more years potentially.
We like to think of it adds in more projects
And then
throughout the state.
And then the only other comment I have is just a generic comment, is we're trying to do a whole bunch in renewable energy or a whole bunch in alternative fuels without picking specific fuels or specific programs, but creating more money so it can compete.
Well, right, these are, the CEC will choose the technologies based on the applications that they're gonna come in. I mean, I'm not choosing any technology. I don't know that much about this area of the law. I mean, or the technology of it, but we hope that because the costs are so high, those folks will compete and then the costs will go down and then various cities will be able at some time to, when it becomes affordable.
But biosolids in itself, does it compete with other things in the same space?
To that extent, correct, right? But
That was my point.
Right, we all make biosolids.
Just like picking Fords over, Chevys and everything else. I don't know.
Well, no, because
Or
it's a
electric
waste
cars
product.
versus
Right.
hydrogen. Anyway, I'm fine with the bill for today. I just sort of trying to wrap my head
Okay.
around, because everyone's doing specific things now that were generally in 4 categories, which I sort of like better, because then technologies and priorities change and you can reinvent yourself.
Good
so.
point. Yes. Another part of the amendments in energy had to do with competitive bid, I believe, too. Is
Yes,
that
right.
correct?
It is, I
just
mean,
wanted
I
to
had a lot of
Yeah.
members from the Bay Area, but they're gonna compete with all the other districts.
Okay.
It just
Very
becomes
well.
law.
Great. Any other questions, comments? And you've closed?
I'm closed. I'm
Okay. We
done.
could take a
today.
roll call, please.
Item 8, SB 1213 by Senator Wykowski. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Senators Wykowski.
Aye.
Wykowski, aye. Gaines.
Aye.
Gaines, aye. Bates. Bates, aye. Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson. Leno. Pavley. Pavley, aye. Yeah, Leno's not here yet.
We're gonna keep, I'm gonna need to contact Senator Leno's office to have Senator Leno come back, but I'll go through or have the, no, we're done with all the bills, and I'm just gonna go through, let's call bill number 1. We'll go through and people can add on and he can come back.
Item 1, SB 1263 by Senators Wykowski and Pavley. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 2-2, with the chair voting aye and the vice chair voting no. Absent members Jackson, Leno, Pavley. Leno, aye. This
Your
is
bill.
item 1, SB 1263. That one. Pavley, aye. 4-2.
The vote is 4-2, that matters out.
Item 3, SB 930 was on consent recommendation, due pass to committee approach, consent recommendation. It was Senator Gaines's bill. Current vote 3-0. Absent members Hill.
Aye.
Hill, aye. Jackson. Leno.
Aye.
Leno, aye. Pavley. Pavley, aye. 6-0.
That's matters 6-0, it's out.
Item 6, SB 1008 by Senator Lara. The motion is due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 3-0. Absent members Hill. Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson. Leno. Aye. Leno, aye. Pavley. 6-0. Okay. 5-0.
That matter is out, 5-0.
Item 7, SB
You want
1018 by Senator Liu. Motion is due pass as amended, refer to Committee on Transportation and Housing. The current vote is 2-2, with the chair voting aye and the vice chair voting no. Absent members Hill. No. Hill, no. Jackson. Pavley. Pavley, aye. 3-3.
That matter is not out, 3-3. Oh,
For reconsideration?
reconsideration is granted.
We have to take a vote, Senator.
Okay.
Without objection.
Okay, so reconsideration is 6-0. Yeah. Item 9, SB 1350 by Senator Wolk. Motion due pass and refer to Committee on Agriculture. The current vote is 4-0. Absent members Hill. Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson. Pavley. Pavley, aye. 6-0.
That matter's out.
Item 10, SB 1383 by Senator Lara. The motion is due pass as amended and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 2-1. Chair voting aye, vice chair voting no. Absent members Bates. Hill? No. I'm sorry. Bates? No. Bates, no. Hill? Aye. Hill, aye. Jackson? Pavley? Aye. Pavley, aye. 4-2.
4-2, that matter's out.
Item 11, SB 1386 by Senator Wolk. Due pass, refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 6-0. Absent member Jackson.
That matter's out, 6-0.
Item 12, SB 1402 by Senator Pavley. Due pass, refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 3-0. Absent members Gaines. Bates. Jackson. Leno. Leno, aye. 4-0.
That matter goes to appropriations, 4-0.
Item 14, SB 1425, Pavley. Due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 4-0. Absent members Gaines.
He stayed off.
Jackson.
Right. Right.
And absent member Leno. Aye. Leno, aye.
That matter's out, on a vote of 5-0.
And one last one. Item 8, SB 1213 for Senator Wykowski. Due pass and refer to Committee on Appropriations. Current vote is 5-0. Absent members Jackson. Leno. Aye. Leno, aye. 6-0.
That matter's out, 6-0.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Believe it or not, I'd like to thank everybody for attending this first hearing on the Senate Environmental Quality, and we are adjourned.